Hello, here is the homepage of the Gorlin Syndrome Alliance. We're going to start this tutorial from the beginning. If you come to the homepage, you will see all of the different drop-down boxes. You want to come to the one that's called Research and Science and click on GSA Patient Registry. Once you're here, you will see lots of information about the importance of the registry and why we need all of the Gorlin Syndrome Alliance patients to enroll in this platform so that the data can be used to help speed up the pace of Gorlin syndrome research. So we're going to come to the top of the page and click this button here called Enroll Today. This will take you to the landing page of the Gorlin Syndrome Alliance Patient Registry. We have shortened that name and call it the GSAPR. On this homepage, you will see lots of different buttons, and I will explain what each of them are and why and which button you should be selecting. First, right here, this is Rare Disease Research button. This button is for researchers only to inquire about accessing the data in the registry for their research projects. So you do not need to worry about this button at all. This button here for patients is an area for you to learn more about what the Gorlin Syndrome Alliance Patient Registry is, why we are doing this, what our goals and our objectives are of having this registry, and the different steps that we have taken to ensure that the data in here is well protected and will be used in the best way possible. And then finally, this is the button here. It's colored green for you to start to enroll yourself and register into the registry so that you will create an account and then be able to go through the different surveys and answer the questions that are being asked. So we're going to get started by clicking the word register, and I'm going to create a temp account as you follow along. So now we're going to enter the platform and register ourselves and create an account. We're going to click the register button. It's going to take you to this page, which confirms that you are a legal adult, 18 years of age or older. If you click no, it will stop you in the process and not advance you into the portal. So if you click yes, it will take you to create an account. Also, here is the terms and conditions of the registry. You can hit that button and it will drop down and outline all of the important information that you should understand about the registry, the information that you are providing, who can view it, how it's protected, and all the guidelines that are in place to protect the registry and to protect your privacy. You can also download the PDF of this if you want to save it to your files. So we're going to go and click yes. We are 18 years of age. This means you are the person who are completing the information. You do not need to start worrying about putting in your child's information if you are registering a minor. At this point, it is just your name and your contact information to create your record. So we're going to create a dummy account, and I'm going to make it Jean Pickford. I live in the United States of America. My email address is pickford5@verizon.net, and I'm going to confirm that, pickford5@verizon.net. And then we're going to move down here to create a password. You need to make sure your password meets the criteria that's outlined here. So I'm going to create a password, and I got the check mark, which means that it is okay and meets the criteria. I'm going to repeat that password to confirm it. The information here is optional if you want to put in your contact information, your phone, so somebody can reach out to you. I want to do that because I want to make sure that I'm doing this correctly, and if somebody contacts me, they are able to access my phone number. So now we're going to move down to the contact preferences. So here are the 3 preferences that you can agree to. The first is that you will receive reminders to update your survey responses. The GSAPR is a longitudinal registry, which means that we want to track information about your Gorlin syndrome condition over the course of time. And as you know, lots of things happen when you have Gorlin syndrome and you are at doctor's appointments periodically during the month. And this is an opportunity for you to get a reminder to go back in and update some of the information that may have changed from when you originally started your enrollment. So for instance, if you get busy and a couple months goes by and you've gone to the dermatologist and had a couple more BCCs removed, or they identified possibly a jaw cyst, those are the kind of things that we want to make sure we update and keep consistent in your profile in the registry. So that I would want to click because I would want to be reminded. This is a button, talks about clinical trials. That's one of the main purposes of the registry, is to have patients be contacted to participate in any potential clinical trials. We do not share your information with the principal investigators. They contact us and then we de-identify you, or we send you the information, and it's up to you if you want to participate or not. And then finally, there's a third click about donating a potentially biospecimen for any type of research involving DNA. This is optional again, but if you are motivated to be more engaged in research, I would highly recommend that you click this button. And then finally, here's the terms and conditions again that you saw in the first screen. They are asking that you read them and that you understand them. So I have taken the time to look at them and I have read them. I agree. So I'm going to check that and hit the button. And now I have created my account. We're going to wait here for a second, and we're going to see that it pops up, says thank you. A confirmation message has been sent to the email address that we used to create our account, and I need to go get that confirmation code to move forward. So I went to my email address and I got my confirmation code and put it in and click submit. My account was successfully validated. I'm ready to enroll my participant information. So we're going to click participant enrollment. And this is a page that talks about the different ways that you can enter a participant. So first, you want to register yourself as the participant. So I'm an adult. I have Gorlin syndrome, and I'm going to click here. Or I have a child with Gorlin syndrome, and I am their legally authorized representative as their parent and or their guardian. So I'm going to click here to add somebody else, my child. And then here is a third choice. I would like to start answering surveys for a participant that has already been enrolled by another legally authorized representative. So what this means is that someone started an account for somebody who has Gorlin syndrome that is under the age of 18, and now that person either has turned 18 and is going to take over their account for themselves, or the person who was entering the information for the child is no longer around and they need to have somebody else take over. This is an area where you would then start that transfer process. I'm going to go for this demo tutorial video, and I'm going to put myself in as my own participant so that you can see how this process works. So I add myself. Now here we go. So here's some information that they want to collect from me at the beginning of the process, so that they can have more accurate demographics about myself as the participant. So I'm going to put in my birth date, and I'm not going to put in my real birth date so you can see how old I am. I'm going to say that I was born in 2000. All right, so I'm 22 years old. I live in the United States of America. My preferred way of being contacted. Do I want to be contacted by email, mail, or phone? And I would prefer email. My language that I would prefer. and I like written English. Now, you may ask, what is the difference between spoken English and written English? It's pretty much the same. Spoken would be through a phone call. Written English would be through an email. I put in my home phone before, so that has transferred over. You can put in your mobile phone, your work phone, whatever information you want to put in. So I'm going to put in my street. I live on Anywhere Street. And the town is Gorlin. And my state is Pennsylvania. And my zip code is 00011. And so now I have created the demographics of my account. So I'm adding myself. It wants to verify that my birth date is September 14th of 2000, and I say yes, that is correct. So now we come to the participant enrollment page. You can see at the top, it tells you how many are already in this registry. So you can see there's 128 participants. Now we're going to move to the consent granted part of this process. So there's a couple buttons here. The first is that adding a participant here would mean, let's just use this example, that I am a parent, I have Gorlin syndrome. I just registered myself. But I also have a 5-year-old daughter who has Gorlin syndrome. And I want her information to be under my account because I'm going to be her legally authorized representative. So this is where you would hit add a participant, and then you would start to create more information about that individual. So it says, who else are you adding to your account? And I am the parent. The participant's first name is Jamie. Their last name is Pickford. Their birth date is 11/01 of 2000 and let's say 9, and they're 13 years old. For 13 years old, the participant's death is not applicable. The country of residence is the United States. The preferred method of contact, again, will be email. I did skip over this. It says, can we contact the participant directly? If you hit yes, you'll have these options. If you hit no, that information goes away. So we're saying yes, we want them to be contacted because we want to participate in any research. The language, again, is written English. The email is going to be my home email because it's the same as in my house because she is my daughter. And I'm not going to put my home phone in for her. I'm going to put in the address, which is 123 Anywhere Street. The town is Gorlin. The state is PA, and the postal code is there. And I'm adding this participant. It's loading up, and now you can see in our account, we now have Jean Pickford, an adult affected with Gorlin syndrome, and my daughter, Jamie Pickford, who has Gorlin syndrome as well. So you can continue to add people in here if you have multiple members in your family that have Gorlin syndrome. This second button here is Start a Transfer. And when I click on that, you're going to see the reason that you would do this is if you are a survey participant and you are now able to answer surveys for yourself. So that means you turned 18 or you have decided that your mom was doing this for you, but now you want to do it yourself. You can use this Start a Transfer button. And also, if you have arranged to answer any surveys on behalf of a participant, for instance, maybe a parent is no longer around and they were the one who was handling the information, you're going to want to start to transfer that to your own account. So we're going to go back because we're not going to do that. So now we're going to come to the grant consent to take surveys. So this button can get confusing. What this is saying is that you are authorizing consent and saying, yes, I want to move forward in this registry enrollment and start to take the surveys that are going to ask me questions about my Gorlin syndrome. So we're going to click Grant Consent. And in here, this is the adult consent. You can see all of your Bill of Rights, everything about the registry, what you're agreeing to, how things are going to be protected, where it is stored, the risks, the benefits. A lot of the information that's in the consented form is also in the terms and conditions that you saw at the beginning. So I take some time, I read through this, I make sure I understand everything that is involved, and now I come to the end and it says, do you confirm that you have read the informed consent? I do. I have read, or someone has read this to me, and all my questions are answered to my satisfaction, and I'm ready to understand the risks of the registry and the risks of participation. So I'm clicking yes. I wish to provide my research data to the Gorlin Syndrome Alliance Patient Registry for purposes described above. Yes. And I wish to provide my research data that has been synonymized to the Gorlin Syndrome Alliance for future research within recognized ethical standards as described under how you stored your data, which is listed above. And I agree. So now I hit I agree with the terms and consent, and I move forward in the process. Please confirm that you agree to this. Agree. It is loading, and congratulations, my consent was sent successfully. I'm returning back to take care of the consent for my child that is still in the participant enrollment. As you will see, consent has been granted for Jean Pickford. Consent has not been granted for Jamie because she's my daughter and I haven't gone through her consent, so I will do hers as well. Again, here's all the information. You've read it already. If you're doing this just for your child, you want to read through this on your own. You're going to hit yes, I've read it, I understand it, I do like the aims, I agree. I want my information to be shared, and I also understand that as a legally authorized representative, I understand that the participant's ability to understand and to the degree possible, the participant has given their assent to participate. So you are speaking on behalf of your child or on behalf of somebody that you're registering for them. For whatever reason, they cannot do it themselves, but you're agreeing that they have given you permission. And so now you hit I agree. And we're going to go back to the participant enrollment. And you can see that consent has been granted for both Jean and Jamie. And now you're able to go in and start to take the surveys. So now we're at the part where we're going to start to take surveys. So for myself, I'm going to click Take Surveys. And this is going to bring me to the page where all the surveys are housed. And they are in succession or in order so that you can take one and then move on to the next and move on to the next. Some of these surveys require a survey prior to it to be completed in order to get permission to move to the next. So the first survey here is called Getting Started. And we're going to come in here and say, it's going to ask you, please answer all the questions as they pertain to the participant who has the condition or diagnosis. So as you know, I'm going in and registered as myself as a patient with Gorlin syndrome. So I'm going to be answering all of these questions as it pertains to me, not my child, myself. So have I been diagnosed with Gorlin syndrome? Yes. And then it asks you if you have, and you have a confirmed diagnosis report, perhaps you have a PDF or a document that you saved from your physician, you can upload it here. It is optional. If you do not have that, do not worry. You can move on without uploading anything. When you answer all of these surveys, you're going to come to this area at the bottom of each survey. And it can get confusing because you think that you're completely done, but you're not. So here is a button that says cancel. That will take you out completely and you'll start over. Here's a button that says finish later. which means that you started answering some of the questions, but you're going to come back later because you have an interruption and you need to go and do something else. And then this final button here is I'm finished, which means that you've answered all of the questions within this one survey and you're ready to move on to the next one. You're completely finished with this survey only. I've had some of our already enrolled participants contact me and thought that when they clicked I'm finished, it meant they were done with all 21 mini surveys. No, it means you're done with the one you are in at that time. So I answered yes, I'm finished. And now it's going to ask you to confirm it again. So you say, yes, I am finished with that survey and I'm done. And now it'll show you how you compare to other people that are already enrolled in the registry, which is a really cool feature. So has the participant been diagnosed with Gorlin syndrome? You can see 71 responses have said yes. Now, this is a no-brainer because we know this registry is only designed for patients with Gorlin syndrome, so this should always be blue. Now we're going to go hit the button which says Take More Surveys. And this will bring us back to our survey page, which lists all of them. So you can see that out of the 21 surveys, 21 initial surveys, 1 out of 21 have been completed, and you're 4% of the way through the questionnaires. So now we're going to move to the next one, which is available, and it'll slowly progress down through all of these different areas of Gorlin syndrome. And so we're going to take the next one, which is participant profile. So we are in the participant profile survey. And in order to save time, I've gone ahead and put in the information that these questions are asking for. These questions are very self-explanatory. The questions have been made to be in a user-friendly format and really should be simple and easy to answer. The time that it takes you to put the information in will depend on how much information you want to give. So for purposes of this demo, I've already gone in and entered the information into this survey on participant profile. But I do want to draw your attention to 2 specific questions within this survey that sometimes trip people up. I'm going to scroll down to this question here, which asks, on what date was the participant diagnosed? Now, if you've been diagnosed a long time ago, it's probably going to be hard for you to remember the exact day and the exact month. What we're hoping for is for you to at least have, to the best recollection, the year of your diagnosis. And if you can't remember the month or the day, then just put in a 0101. So I put in here that I was diagnosed in 2010, but I can't remember if it was January or March, and I can't remember the day. So I just put in 0101. And that's completely acceptable. The same type of question will be asked at the end here that says, when did you notice your first indication that you have Gorlin syndrome? And so again, I'm going to put in 0101 and 2009, thinking maybe the year before is when I noticed it, but it's all going to depend on your individual situation. I'm just doing a demo for you to see how to enter that information and to know that it is okay not to know the exact day or the exact month, but we're really hoping you can remember the year. At the end of each of these 21 surveys, it's going to ask you, the very last question consistently says, is there any additional information that you would like to add? If you click yes, you will see you get a box. It's a prompt for you to put more information in. If you click no, that box does not appear. Again, we come to the end of this survey, number 2, and we've answered it to the best of our knowledge. We have answered everything we want to put in. So we are going to click, I'm finished. And you're going to say, yes, I'm finished, as a confirmation. Again, you're going to come to this page, which is going to show you how you compare to others that have answered the same exact question. You're going to hit Take More Surveys, and you will be brought back to this page again. So now as you look up here, you can see 2 of the surveys have been completed, and you have 18 surveys left. Some of these surveys are mandatory and some are not as mandatory, so you'll see that this number will change on the top. There are a total of 21 surveys. The first and the last one sometimes trip people up when they see this number up here change to 20, but rest assured it is 21 surveys that you'll be answering. And just follow along on this progress bar and you'll see how much more you need to complete. So now we're going to go into the next survey, and I'm going to do this one as the phone rang in the middle of the survey and I had to go answer it. So I had to stop the survey and come back to it. So let's look into that. So we are now into survey number 3, and it's diagnosis. And so we're going to come in, this page will appear, and it's going to say a question that is contingent upon your answer as to when other questions are going to appear. So I will share an example of this, but this happens frequently throughout the entire group of surveys because it's something called branching logic. So however you answer a question, it will then take the response to that question and take you down a pathway that pertains to that particular answer. So here, I put, did a physician or other health professional perform any tests that led to your diagnosis? And so right now it says prefer not to answer. But if you click and I say, yes, somebody else did, you will see that that then triggers another question to appear to support some information about the answering yes to the question. So now it's going to say, what test did the physician or other professionals do to make this diagnosis? And as you click through, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, they did a physical examination. And then you're going to continue on answering these surveys. Again, another one that prompted more information to be asked. So have you ever had genetic testing? You say yes. Then it says, well, what type of genetic testing? And then so on. If you answer no, as you will see, you're not asked that follow-up question. And then the phone rings. Okay, and you're not done. Now it's asking for some information and you did not finish this and you need to go get it. It's your grandmother and she needs to talk to you for a couple hours about a problem or something she's having. So you're like, I will finish this later. So you're going to hit finish later. And as you see, it's submitting your answers and now it stops and it says resume. And then you'll go get your phone call or you'll log out of this. And then you'll come back the next day. And when you log back in using your username and your password that you entered at the beginning, which you need to write down and keep on hand, you use that, it will bring you right back here when you log back in. And then you will hit resume. And now you go see the answers that you've completed, but now you know that there's one more spot that you need to put something. So you're going to put your date, and you're going to put in whatever the date is. And I don't have any more information I want to provide. So I hit no, I'm done with this one. And I come back down here to I'm finished. It will confirm that you're finished. You say yes. And now you can see how you compared to others in the registry. So it says, did a physician or healthcare professional perform any other tests that led to the diagnosis? And 44 people said yes. 15 said no, and 3 said don't know. So depending on where your answer is for any one of these questions, it's very reassuring to see how you fall into the mix of other Gorlin syndrome patients. Now we're going to come back to take more surveys. And this will continue now till you get all the way down to the end. You want to click on all of these takes. Again, as I mentioned earlier, the reason there's no takes here for BCCs and squamous cell carcinoma or the hedgehog inhibitors is because you need to complete the skin survey in order for you to have access to these surveys. So you can see that it's a prerequisite. So now we've come to the final survey, You can see at the top here, it says 16 of 17 surveys completed. So we're at 94%. And we're going to come to the last one, which is a thank you survey. We're going to load that up. It's going to say, thank you for participating in the Gorlin Syndrome Registry. We have confirmed that you're completed. Please, if you are interested, you will get an Amazon e-gift card after you get to this page. You can only receive the Amazon gift card if you have completed enrollment of all the surveys. So I'm excited. I'm done. I would love to get a gift card. I'm going to treat myself to something special. So I click yes. I will put my name in, my last name, and the date the surveys were completed. So that would be 06 of 22 of 2023, right? So we completed them. And do I want the gift card sent to me electronically at this address? And I say yes. It says, thank you for submitting this information. And you click that I am finished. So now at this page, you can see, if you want to see what your answers were to these two surveys, you can click on the view button, but you don't necessarily have to. You already just, entered the information. But if you want to go back and look, you can see what information you entered in the Getting Started and the Thank You survey. These are updatable surveys. These are the ones that you can go in and make changes to if you put in incorrect information and you'd like to change it. And these surveys here are the ones that are where you're going to be asked to retake on a periodic basis to make sure that we have the most accurate information and there wasn't anything changed in your health history. So these will be the reminders that you will get via email, and you'll have an opportunity to retake these. As you can see, the date that you will be contacted will be December 15th. I completed them today, and in 6 months, you'll get an email that will say, hey, has anything changed in your history and your life that can be updated within the registry? Again, this is a longitudinal tool, so we are trying to track your Gorlin syndrome over the course of time. So it's important that you come back in every 6 months and update your information. And these are the ones that you'll be asked to take. Okay, so now you're done. You're finished. You submitted all of them. You've got the green survey progress. All of them have been completed. So you're going to hit home, and you're going to come back to the home screen of your account. And so you can see that I have Take Surveys, Edit, and Manage Consent. So if I click on Take Surveys, it will show that page we were just at, 17 of 17 completed. At this point, I'm done. I need to wait for my updates in 6 months. If you hit Edit, it will take you back to your enrollment where you can change your first name, your address, if your email has changed, any of that information. So this third button here is Manage Consent. And when you click on that, it will take you to the page where you can see your consent form that you signed earlier in the process, and you can have it emailed to your email address to review again. But the important button here is if at any time you have changed your mind and you do not want to participate in the registry for whatever reason, you can come here and click Revoke Consent. And by revoking consent, this will actually remove you from the registry, from the study. The only thing is, if information has been shared with an investigator or involved in any type of data collection prior to this, that cannot be retrieved. That's already gone out. But at this point, once you hit this button, anything moving forward will not be shared. Your information will not be shared. So we don't want to do that, but I wanted to make sure you knew that that option is available to you. At any given time, you can remove yourself from the registry. And so we're going to go back to the index and not delete because we want to stay enrolled for purposes of research. So I just want to draw your attention to entering information for a child. So we just entered all the information for myself as an adult, and now I'm going to go back in and I'm going to take all the surveys for my child. I am their legally authorized representative. You're going to go through and answer all of the same questions as you did before. Those questions, though, I want to caution you, be sure to make your answers pertaining to the actual child or the participant. You do not want to answer these questions on your behalf. You want to make sure that the answers pertain to the individual and the child. So you want to enter how many BCCs the child has and the date of birth of the child. So just keep that in mind as you go through the process of enrolling a child. Again, back on the home page here, it all depends on your family. You may only have one child and no adults affected, so you would only see one person's name here. It all depends on your personal situation, but I wanted to take the time to show you how you can register an adult and a child for purposes of this video. And finally, for the most important thing, if you do get stuck or if you do have a question or there's something that you're not sure about, absolutely email the Gorlin Syndrome office so that we can help you and assist you. The email address that is solely dedicated to the registry is called registry@gorlinsyndrome.org. That is a specific email address that pertains only to questions about the registry, so not to get mixed up with anything else. It's a very important project for the organization. We take it very seriously, and we want to make sure that we can assist you in any way possible to enroll and upload your information. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that we answered some of your questions. And for those of you who have not registered yet, make sure you get on it and get in there. It's easy, it's simple, and it'll make a world of difference in moving forward the pace of Gorlin syndrome research.